Organized empowerment, building and leading your team with simple systems, presented by Lace Flowers. So welcome to this masterclass. My name is Lace and I am a tech and automations consultant working virtually from Colombia after having left my birth country of the UK 2 years ago to build a new life after leaving a narcissistic and abusive marriage. I primarily work I primar I primarily work with technically challenged energetics and plant medicine practitioners, bringing tech and automation to their online businesses and helping business owners to reduce the number of business platforms they're using and their associated costs. On the back of the success I've had from doing this, I now also teach new and existing virtual assistants how to launch or relaunch their VA businesses so they can attract aligned and ready to pay clients. Having been in the world of VA assistance and supporting business owners to add tech and automation to their businesses, I also began to help business owners to master the art of delegation and become great collaborators for their VAs and teams. This is on the back of all the experiences that I've had and knowing what works and what really doesn't, and what really helps make great collaborations. So I'm here today to speak with you about building and leading teams using simple systems. And in particular, we're going to talk about getting started with working with VAs or service providers and how to avoid the common pitfalls of hiring and ensure that you're ready to fill those CEO shoes and take your business to the next level by harnessing the power of delegated support. So you're in the right place, and this talk is for you. If this is you right now, if you can resonate with this, let me know. So you are an entrepreneur. You are wearing all the hats. You're a one lady or one man band. Um, you came into business because you're passionate about whatever it is that you have to offer the world. Your gifts and your talents, whether that's some form of healing practice, some sort of energetics, some sort of coaching, so whatever it is you have to offer, that is what you came into business to do. But what you're realizing is coming in as an entrepreneur, you do end up wearing all the hats and you find yourself constantly working. Like it never seems to stop. You're not entirely sure of what you're doing. And that's not saying that you don't understand what your gifts and talents are and what you have to share with the world, but more you're realizing that there's a lot more to it than just sharing your gifts and talents. Um, you're doing your one-to-one work, which you love, you're doing maybe some group work, which you also love, but you're also finding that you're having to manage all of your social media, all of your content creation, writing posts, writing articles, making reels, or other forms of long or short form video. You're doing all the tech stuff, trying to figure out what payment process to use, how to set up professional business email, buying domains, designing websites, or even should I even have a website? You're doing your email marketing and you're wading through the best platforms for hosting your courses, webinars, memberships, and the list goes on. And as a result, you are not enjoying your business. You're actually feeling overwhelmed and burnt out and wishing that somebody could help you because it's leading you to just want to burn it all down. I get it. I have been there. But the truth is, you don't have to go it alone. There is an entire world of people out there who can help take the pressure off you and allow you to focus on the parts of the business that you actually love and the reason why you came into business as an entrepreneur in the first place. So there are solutions. And you may have come across the term VA, you may be familiar with virtual assistants and actually be considering using one. But what does that mean and what does that look like? Well, first, if you haven't heard of a VA or a virtual assistant, let me tell you, basically what they're all about. And for those of you that have, you may not realize that the term VA may not actually cover the person you're looking for. So listen carefully. So a virtual assistant or a VA is someone who works virtually from a distance and will come into your business and perform certain tasks. Generally speaking, a VA is someone who will come in and do general tasks in your business to help you get your time back. This could look like inbox management, sorting out your emails. It could be posts on your socials. It could be customer service support. It could be file organization, basic lead generation, invoicing, onboarding, or live event support, sorry. But that's just a couple of things it could be. And that's generally what a virtual assistant is. They will come in and do tasks that you train them to or delegate to them. It's not necessarily very specialist. However, you will come across specialist virtual assistants. So this could be someone like me, where I specialize in tech and automation. So you would come to a tech VA like me if you were looking for having your business email set up, to simplify your systems or to add systems and automation into your business if you don't already have them. If you need one-page websites building, your courses building, or sales pages building, I do all those sorts of things, set up payment processes, all the tech sort of stuff falls into my realm. So you could call me a tech VA because I handle technical stuff in the businesses of business owners virtually. And you'll also find that other strategists and service providers like ads managers, social media managers, community managers, operation managers are all lumped under the umbrella term of VA, although strictly speaking, we are not VAs, but we do work virtually. And I point this out because knowing this difference is key, because it's going to help you figure out who to hire, and it's going to influence how you find this person and move forward with them to achieve your goals. So understanding the pitfalls of traditional hiring and delegation methods. So, okay, you're wearing all the hats, you've realized you want some help, and now you have found that a VA or similar type of service provider may be what you need. And the first thing that you think to do is, gosh, let me go to my socials and put out a post looking for this person. So most often I will see people put out a vague post in the Facebook group or on their profile, or perhaps even create a Google form, which is attached to this post, wherever it is, which is full of useless questions for massive lists of needs that are, you know, as broad as they are long. And often they will also have a really low pay per hour like salary attached to it. Now, this method of finding help often results in having a poor experience with the VA that you hire. And this is why. Vague posts attract the wrong kind of help and they repel the right kind of help. Job descriptions with low pay offers put off your ideal VAs and service providers, and they're going to attract people who are looking for a quick buck, who will tell you whatever you want to hear in answer to your questions on your application form in order to get that quick buck. The best VAs and service providers set their own rates, and they do not wish to be treated like employees. So they're not going to respond to typical employee type forms or accept low rates of pay. They're also not generally unicorns. Not everybody knows every single system that you use in your business. Not everyone is able to do social media and tech and all the things in between. So these long lists, like wish lists that people tend to put out, tend to attract sort of jack of all trades, master of none, kind of half-assed help. But you can avoid all of this disappointment that tends to come on the back of the people that are hired from these types of vague posts and get right to attracting the right kind of people by not running to your social media the second you realize you need help. The truth is, there is background work to be done. There is prep work to be done before you start looking for a VA. And it's absolutely vital that you have clarity on exactly what you need first and how to call in this person using the mix of energetics and practicality. I am a big, big believer in both. It is a mix. There is that balance of energetics and, doing the things and the practical side of this. So, moving forward, more pitfalls. Pitfalls of a sort of typical delegation methods that I see in our industry. Prioritizing cost over quality. Often I will see business owners seeking out people in poorer countries as VAs. And this is not because they feel that these VAs are necessarily a good fit for their business, but it's so they can pay them $3 an hour and hand off everything for cheap. This is an exploitive and horrible energy and attitude to have towards anybody. It's really important that we remember that we reap what we sow. And as energetics and spiritually curious entrepreneurs, I know that you will totally resonate with that and you'll get it. Choosing a VA based on the cheapest price, who can give you the most stuff, is a sure way to wind up with half-assed quality and poor satisfaction. So rather than come at your business with a bargain bin attitude, seek people who are a great fit for your needs and your goals and your business vision. So no matter where in the world your team or VA is, make sure that you're choosing to collaborate with them because they are the best fit for your business. And they are the best fit for you and what your needs are, and not because they are cheap and because you can exploit them. Next pitfalls, deadbeat delegation. Typically, deadbeat delegation looks like no systems, no methods of operation, no manuals, no training. It's just a verbal do this, or worse, it's a bunch of forwarded emails into that VA's inbox, and I hope that they will just know what to do and that will work out. No, do not be that collaborator. Do not be that CEO. This only ever results in disappointment and unhappy collaborations, unhappy for you and unhappy for your VA as well, or service provider. Again, this ultimately comes down to the hiring CEO's lack of clarity and prior preparation to avoid piss poor performance. I'm sure you've heard that term, and it's absolutely true. You need to prepare if you want to have great performance. As the CEO, you must have knowledge in how to find the right VA or service provider, or you are running the risk of everything ending in disaster. Oftentimes, this leads to the VA being unfairly slated as being shit, when it's actually the CEO's lack of clarity and ability to outsource and delegate for success. So I want to share with you now some real life examples of the consequences of these terrible approaches to hiring and prioritizing cost over quality and deadbeat delegation. So a particular client came along and she said she couldn't find the right help. But she had no idea what she needed. She kept saying that everyone that had come before was just crap. She couldn't find the right person. All the VAs she'd worked with were just stupid. But on further probing and investigation, it turned out that this business owner actually didn't have a clue what she wanted or what she needed. She just passed things over as she thought of them or as they sort of came up. And then she would often change her mind, she would complain, and she was a forwarder of emails. Tons and tons of emails with no context. Just, I can't be bothered with this, I'll send it to my VA. This is not how you treat your VA. You should have an agreement in place of what things are going to be done And it's not just sort of random stuff as you can be bothered to think about expecting that because they're there to help you that they should do it. That's not how it works. But because of this lack of clarity and not knowing what she needed, she was really insecure and was unable to trust her VA to do the work or to do it right. She was very rude, and she would often check up on her VA to make sure that they were sat at their desk doing something, although she wasn't on a full-time basis and didn't have any need to be at her desk constantly. But in the end, the agreement was ended by the VA, and the business owner was absolutely furious. And the VA ended up feeling like she was a failure and was convinced that she was no good at her business because there was so much conflict and disagreement on the jobs that had been done, although they were asked for, and then the woman changed her mind because of her lack of clarity. So as a result, this particular business owner still hasn't found the right help and is now blacklisted among a particular VA circle should she pop up again looking for help, because without that clarity of knowing what she needs and what she wants, there's never going to be a good outcome for anyone that works with her. So example number 2, a lady came to me asking for recommendations on a VA, and I asked her if she worked with one before and what her experience was. And she said she was cheap. She was cheap, but I had to keep doing work over again myself, so I stopped passing things over. And now I'm weary of hiring a new VA. This is a cost over quality kind of thing. So this woman hired someone that she was cheap and then found out that the work was not really being done to the standard that she wanted it to, and that instead of being able to have her time back and pass off tasks, she was actually not passing them on because she was expecting half-assed quality to come back. This completely defeats the entire point of hiring a VA in the first place. So maybe if she had gone with someone who wasn't just cheap and had hired them on the basis that they produced good work and that were a good fit for her, she probably would have had a better experience and she wouldn't be weary of hiring. She wouldn't be weary of hiring a new VA because she would know exactly how to do that and do it successfully. The last thing I want to share with you is a client that I had once who came to me. She was overwhelmed in her business, but unsure what help she actually wanted. She set tasks and she changed her mind, and then she changed her mind again, and then she would ghost me and just not answer for weeks, even months. And this made my life very difficult because I felt like I wasn't getting anything done, but she wasn't really giving me anything to do. And then 6 months later, after our agreement ended, she came back and wanted these hours to be filled. Which in my contracts, you must use your time within the month that they're allocated to, otherwise they expire. So again, this comes back down to a lack of clarity on the CEO's side, making my job as the VA very confusing and a bit of a time waste for all of us, and certainly a waste of money for that particular CEO. That's why it's really important to have clarity. And this woman actually no longer uses VA services and remains overwhelmed and constantly sick as a result. So I came up with the idea of the ideal VA avatar process. This is a solution to the problems we've just talked about, and it is most certainly the best kind of prevention, because if you haven't worked with a VA or service provider before, prevention is far better than cure. And if you have worked with one before and you've had a bad experience, this is the process you really need to be going through to avoid it happening again. So introducing the ideal VA avatar process, this is basically the formula for avoiding the common pitfalls of hiring and poor delegation and everything. This changes the game. So I'm sure many of you would have heard of an ideal client. You probably have an ideal client avatar. If you do, let me know in the chat. And just type ICA. And I would put money, and most of you spent days, weeks, probably even months refining your ideal client, most probably. I bet you even revisit it periodically just to make sure that your messaging, your offers are still the best fit for your ideal client and pulling the right people into your business. Because without an ICA, you are wasting time trying to sell to everyone and appealing to no one. So why should you not treat looking at hiring a VA or a service provider or team member with the same care and attention? Rather than appealing to everyone with a vague post on social media, basing your decision solely on price, refine this into your ideal VA or service provider so you can call them in. This is one, getting into the right energy of calling that person in, and it's also the practical process of attracting that person in. And this is where the ideal avatar process, the ideal VA avatar process comes in. It's the combination of energetic woo and setting intention, as well as being clear to the universe about what you desire in a VA or collaborator. And it's also practical by taking the time to figure out what you need in terms of what you need to actually outsource and want to outsource, and who you need to outsource it to for the best results, whether that's a general VA, a specialist VA, some sort of service provider or strategist, for example. So by doing this process, you're going to be able to identify the right people for your business. So in order to create your ideal VA avatar, you're going to need to do a few things. One, you need to know, who are you? You need to know, the details about your brand, your value, your niche, and your industry. Two, what do you need and want to outsource as a priority? Because remember, often I see these huge lists of people. I see these huge lists as long as a highway with a mishmash of general and specialist tasks and a ton of platforms that you want this person to have experience in. And then, it says something like, oh, but this won't take long and I'm only going to pay you $3 an hour, right? That is looking for a unicorn, which is practically non-existent, and it's asking too much of one person. You've got to be real here. So as a priority, what is it that you need help with right now? That's what you need to write down. And then you need to write down, what that help involves. So for example, if you need help with your social media, what social medias are you on that you want help with? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it TikTok? If so, you know that this person needs to have experience in whichever platform this is, or couple of platforms. Do you want them just to take your content and post it, or do you want them to write the post? You have to be really, really specific about what help it is you want this person to actually give you. So get really clear on what you need and be very specific. And see if it does fall into a category, because there might be a few things, but you find actually this is all social media related. This is all technical stuff. This is all to do with booking travel for my retreats. To see if it does fall into a particular category, that will help you figure out who you need to hire. And thirdly, you need to write down traits and values of your ideal VA or service provider and the skills or experience that they need to have in able to support you properly. And this will be based on number 2, and what niche or industry they should specialize in, which is going to be whichever niche or industry you're in. So by undertaking this process, you are calling in the best possible person for your business and can set out to find them based on these key pieces and ignoring the rest. So by doing this, you are prioritizing finding the right VA or service provider for your business and needs. You are going to be giving yourself the best chance of finding the best fit and having a great and successful collaboration with the person that you hire. You're going to cut the time that you spend sifting through hundreds of replies to posts or email applications from non-ideal fits. And lastly, this is going to get the right people in your circle reaching out to you rather than repelling them. So basically, you'll be sidestepping all of the issues that we covered in the previous slide. Mastering the art of delegation. Clarity is what's going to really help you be a great delegator, because you know your business, you know what it's all about, you will know what you need, and you will be able to confidently outsource and harness the talent of others to bring your dream to life. You will easily sit back and let your VA and team do their work, knowing the results are going to be amazing, whilst being free to do your thing, the thing that you love, the thing that made you come into this entrepreneurship in the first place. That's what you'll get to focus on, all with the confidence that the people that are in your team are doing their thing and their results are going to be amazing. Being able to delegate successfully will make growing and scaling your business easier and quicker. You're going to reach more people. You're going to have more impact. You're going to give yourself more time freedom. You're going to have more profit, and you're going to have more time for you and your family. So here's some practical tips and strategies for mastering the art of delegation effectively. Clarity and strategy. When you have clarity on what your business is about, what your offers are about, what you're all about, you are able to then create a strategy or get a strategist in to help you achieve exactly that. When you have a clear vision, it's the same thing. You are able to go out there and tell people that and attracting the right people who are going to share that vision with you. You need to have your business essentials on hand. So this is your methods of operation, MOPS. We're going to talk a bit more about MOPS in the next slide. But methods of operation and knowing how your business works is super important. And these are things you need to have on hand to be able to delegate effectively. You need to be contactable and responsive. It's really important that your team or your VA can get hold of you and that you give them answers when they need it so they can do their work. There is nothing more frustrating for a VA or service provider than being ignored, not having clear answers, or having to wait, terribly long to get answers in order to do the work. It's really important to show your team or collaborator gratitude and to say thank you, because it makes them feel good. I know I always appreciate being appreciated for what I do, and it's just important, the more we show gratitude, the more good things come, right? I'm sure many of you know about the art of gratitude. So show some to your VA and service providers. Also, be aware of bias. This is something that really doesn't come up very often, but being a woman of color is something that has been brought into my world, especially in the healing and spiritual community. So I'm going to talk a little bit about unconscious bias and racism, which is actually a lot more common than we think. And because it's unconscious, it's actually where it's most dangerous, because people aren't even aware that it is affecting them and that it's influencing how they treat their collaborators and their clients of color. So it is really, really important to be aware of bias. And no, this is not aimed at people that are outwardly racist. This message is not for them, and it would never get through to them. But to those who are willing to explore this and are open to becoming better collaborators and making their business safe, a safer space for people of color, whether that is your collaborators or your clients or what have you. This is something to really delve into, um, and just be aware that there may be things in your upbringing, and certainly there are things in our social conditioning that make us see people in different ways based on their color, and things that we are programmed to think about people who are different to us. So that's certainly something to be aware of. And it's something that I have, like I said, personally experienced as well, being treated differently, and even treated badly for my skin color. And it's not okay. It's something we really need to face head on. And once we start exploring that, then we're in a really powerful position to actually start changing it. But anyway, I want to share some real world examples of successful delegation and its impact on business success. So one of my best ever clients, she is a sound healer, a music producer, and a sound therapist. She's incredible. And this lady wanted me to help her with various VA tasks when I was doing more sort of general stuff. And she came to me, and she is hands down the most organized CEO I have ever worked with. She had things set up in almost like spreadsheets, but it's a platform called Airtable. And she had like the names of all the different groups that she wanted me to post in, and she had the names of the groups, how many people in the groups, the last time she posted in the group, what she posted in the group, and then a link to the actual group all in one place. And then she also had like the posts that she wanted me to post with the pictures attached in Trello. If you've never heard of Trello, it's a virtual workspace where you can organize, projects, whether they're your own personal projects or whether they're group projects, and it's all online. But she had all her posts that she wanted me to post because I was posting on her socials. So she'd write them out, and she'd attach different pictures to each one. So sometimes I'd have three different pictures, and she'd have three different variations of the post so they weren't duplicates. And then she'd have where she wanted me to post them, the date she wanted me to post them, the time she wanted me to post them. Like, she was so thorough and detailed in what I needed to do. Like, I never needed to talk to her. I mean, obviously I did, but it wasn't a requirement. I didn't need to ask her questions because everything was just so organized. All I had to do was jump in and do the things. And that's the way it should be, because it was seamless. She did her bit, I did my bit, it got done. It was absolutely seamless. And her business is really successful. And that just shows you that's some serious delegation. That's delegation at its finest. She had all her shit together, and I knew exactly what I needed to do, and I could just go in and do it. And I'd update the Trello board and the Airtable sheets as necessary. And it just flowed. It was fantastic. And this is what I mean when I'm talking about having systems in place ready for people to step in and help you. They can just take the reins and run with it because you've already got it organized. Another client that I've got, who is a great communicator. She's really responsive. So I communicate with my clients on several different platforms. We have Trello, like I just mentioned, to organize our projects. And I do that as standard for all my clients. And I also have my clients' WhatsApps. So I will send them a WhatsApp if I need quick answers, or I need something fast rather than email. Of course, I've got emails as well. And this particular lady is a great communicator. Anytime I message, although we have like a 6-hour time difference, she knows when I'm sleeping. I know when she's sleeping, but she was always on it. So as soon as that message comes through and she sees it, or as soon as her message comes through and I see it, we talk to each other and we have quick communications on WhatsApp, and we send things by email, and all of our projects are organized inside of Trello, which we also comment on. And again, this just shows that, she can set out a task or I can set out something, and we talk about it and it gets done. It's fast, it's quick, there's no messing about. That's why it's important to have systems like Trello in place as well, because it helps everyone keep on top of what they need to do. And lastly, I want to talk about a lady who she's a plant medicine expert. And this woman, she's so lovely. This is where I'm talking about gratitude. This lady shows me so much gratitude. Mind you, so does the lady I just mentioned. They all do. But in particular, this lady is so always expresses gratitude. Every time I complete something for her, she is so happy and she always lets me know, I'm really happy. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm sharing your work with, my graphic designer, my this, my that, and everyone's giving me amazing feedback. And it really makes me feel really good. And it makes me want to continue to do really good work for her because I know that she appreciates it and that it's going to a good home. It makes my job so much more worth it. Do you know what I mean? So that's why it's really important to show gratitude, because it just keeps a really nice sort of relationship between you guys. And I show her gratitude as well. I'm really pleased. I'm just really happy for all the clients that I have, that I get to work with them, and I let them know that I'm really grateful to have them in my business and for me to be part of their business, because it's magical. And as a result, all of these ladies' businesses are growing and expanding, and they're getting out there, they're putting their offers out there, they're making more impact and they're making more money. So it really works for everyone. So creating methods of operation. So we spoke about this very briefly. So methods of operation are basically how you do things inside of your business. And having a document of those to pass on to someone else. So basically, if you were to give your business to somebody else to run, that they would be able to look at your documents or trainings or whatever it is and know exactly how everything in your business works, all the steps that it takes to run your business as it runs. So the first method I have for creating a MOP, method of operation, is to film your process. If there is something, I don't know, so you have a particular process of enrolling someone in something, or onboarding, or how you vet situations when you're letting people into your group, or whatever it is, you can film it. You can use like Loom or Zoom or whatever, and just screen record and talk through what you're doing. Keep it short, keep it concise, download it and file it away. In the same way, if a recording is not quite appropriate or you prefer to write, you can write an operations manual of particular things that happen in your business that you can pass on. And it's really short. You give it a title, you explain what's happening, you explain how to do it, bullet point it, keep it really simple and concise, and then file that away. So you're effectively creating like a library. Of course, if there is no MOP, and sometimes there isn't, sometimes you're bringing in people like me who are giving you the solution to your problem. So I will build your course for you. I will build your web page. You're not teaching me how to do it. You've brought me in to do it for you. And in these cases, there is no MOP. However, in these cases, you must have clarity to be able to hire the best person for doing the job so that you can relax and that you have everything you need in place for that person to come in and do the job. Because I might come in and build your one-page website, but I don't write the copy for that. I'm not going to write the words on that page. That's up to you to sort out whether, you might outsource that to a copywriter. You might write it yourself. You might use AI to write it, and then you give that to me, and I do the tech behind making those words into a web page. So you must have clarity, because just because you ask somebody, for example, to create your one-page website does not mean they're going to make the copy for it. You still have to have the words, you have to have the branding, you have to have the colors, maybe there's particular images you want. You have to have all these things in place so that person can come in, take the necessary ingredients to create the thing that you want them to do, right? Number 3, have all your business assets in one place. So just like I've just mentioned, if you're bringing in somebody to do a particular job, for example, again, going back to the one-page website, I'm going to ask you for certain things. And if you already have all of those handy in like a Google Drive file or something, that makes my life easy, and it makes your life much quicker than having to run around, copying hex codes and finding your fonts. Have them all in one place before you bring this person in. So we're talking things like your brand kit, which is going to include your colors, which is going to include your hex codes, it's going to include your fonts, it's going to include like, particular images, perhaps anything to do with your brand. Have that in one place. And any other useful things, whether that's like all your social links, maybe you've got a document of all your social links, a document of passwords, maybe, stuff like that, all things that somebody may need to come in and do a job. Have them in one place so you can just go there and go, here's the thing. Make it easy for you. And headshots. It's really important to have images, a collection of images for your business as well. Number 4, use a virtual workspace. So you could have stuff in Drive, you could have your brand kit in Drive, you could have like a file of pictures, a file of, I don't know, copy or whatever. But then they're all just files on your computer, all just files in Google Drive. You've got to go looking for these things. If you have like a virtual workspace, for example, Trello, you can have different tabs with this stuff in. So you could have like, my VA training kit, or your web designer, file or whatever, and have all the necessary things inside that space. So you can put them all in there, and when you're ready to hand them out, you add the person to your Trello board, and they're able to go and find those things all attached in that one place. So they don't have to go through your computer, they don't have to log into 100 different things. They log into one place and everything is all there, which is really handy. And that is how you create methods of operation and prepare to delegate. So you have your manuals and you have them organized and you have them in one place ready for someone to come in and dive straight in. There's no messing about, no wasting time. It's just bam, bam, bam. Thank you, ma'am. That's how it should be done. So achieving successful collaboration through effective hiring. Build simple yet effective systems of operation to streamline collaboration with virtual assistants and service providers. Successful collaboration isn't about finding the cheapest option. It's about hiring for alignment and fostering a culture of teamwork. Say goodbye to trial and error hiring and embrace the ideal VA avatar process for targeted hires that drive results. When you take all the things that we've just spoken about, this is what happens. You are going to end up feeling confident that you know how to go out and find the right people, and that when you hire, you're able to relax and allow those people to bring their magic and their expertise into your business, knowing that results are going to be good because you hired them effectively in the first place. And you don't have to worry about getting the wrong people. Of course, not everything goes right all of the time, but if you employ the things that we've spoken about here today, you will find that your chances of successful and happy collaborations are going to be far, far higher than if you don't. So I do talk a lot about this in my training course, Make the Most Out of Your VA. Not going to talk about that right now, but if you want to explore this further, there are options to do that. And I do absolutely wish you the very, very best in building and leading your teams as an amazing and successful delegator, and that it helps you to scale your business and also give you back your time, your sanity, and freedom so you can, focus on the stuff that you love in your business and the reason why you came into business in the first place. I hope that you've enjoyed this session and it's been valuable to you. And I look forward to answering any of your questions. So if you have any questions, please ask them now. I will be happy to help. And if you do think of anything afterwards, just drop them and I will come back and answer them. However, I want to thank you for your participation and I encourage you to take what you've learned, and I hope that it helps you to build and lead your teams effectively from now into the future. Thank you very much.